The British taxpayer is being used as a cash cow to pay the benefits for people who can't speak English. You're also paying for foreign criminals to languish in our prisons before they're released, and then you'll probably end up paying their benefits as well. Reform MP Rupert Lowe claims that there are nearly 870,000 calls made to the Department for Work and Pensions last year, made by people who required an interpreter. He says that if you can't speak English, you shouldn't get benefits. Well, how can these people seriously be expected to get a job or contribute to wider society? I mean, he goes on. He says, we know that £726 million was spent on refugee households through universal credit last year. And it raises the question, what's the overall figure for the amount of money that we spend in benefits on all foreign nationals who can't speak English? Why are we paying for that? We're not just paying for legal migrants or refugees who can't communicate properly. It's criminals as well. Rupert Lowe makes this point about a foreign national with 17 convictions who we apparently can't deport.
This is now, as I say, a matter of national emergency. The third part of the equation is those illegal migrants who are here, and I had a case in my constituency, Great Yarmouth, only this week, where one alias Amulata was convicted of drug dealing, a 17th offence, a very light sentence. So will she commit to deporting those illegal migrants here who are damaging the interests of the British electorate?
Then the Conservative MP Nick Timothy adds to this, talking about the sheer level of criminality among foreign nationals in Britain.
1 in 50 Albanians in Britain is in jail, and nationalities including Jamaicans, Iraqis and Somalis are also disproportionately likely to be criminals. We need better data to inform immigration, asylum and criminal justice policies. So will the government publish the nationality, visa and asylum status of all prison offenders? If yes, can we have a timeline? And if not, can we have a good reason why not?
You might have missed that, just that bit at the start there. He says that 1 in 50 Albanians in Britain are in prison. It's remarkable, isn't it? Now, there are parts of the country, like the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead, where the local council, a Lib Dem majority, by the way, is seeking to increase council tax by 25%. 25%. Well, it's no wonder, is it? Because the British taxpayer is on the hook 4 times here. You pay hundreds of millions of pounds for refugees, you seemingly pay for some legal migrants who can't speak English to get benefits, and then you pay for foreign criminals to live at His Majesty's pleasure, then you probably pay for their benefits when they come out. The social contract is completely broken. I used to have to use the razor that my ex-girlfriend used to shave her legs. It scratched me and it made me feel weird. But fear not, because Manscaped is back with a game changer. This isn't just any old shaver. We're talking about the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver with 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads. One for that baby smooth look and another when you want to keep it a bit rugged. Get this, it's waterproof. You can use it in the shower, by the pool, or even while scuba diving if that's your thing. This beauty runs for 75 minutes on a single charge. That's enough time to shave your face, your mate's face, and still have juice left over for touch-ups. You'll also get their Power Shave Gel for a proper wet shave experience, and a face shave soother to keep your mug looking fresh and irritation-free. It's like having a barber in your bathroom, minus the awkward small talk. Click the link in the description and use the code GBN for a whopping 20% off and free shipping with the code GBN at manscaped.com. Join the 11 million blokes worldwide who trust Manscaped. Your face will thank you, and so will your wallet. Let's get thoughts on my panel. We've got the Director of Popular Conservatives, Mark Littlewood. We've also got the landlord and activist, Adam Brooks, and the journalist and broadcaster, Nina Mishkov. Mark, I'll start with you. I mean, the social contract here appears to be got the British taxpayer paying 4 times over. If someone can't speak English, should they get benefits?
I'm not sure I go quite as far as to say they shouldn't, but I think the cost of interpretation is on them. I mean, supposing you can't speak English very well, I would hope that somebody else in your household can. If they can't, you should hire an interpreter. I think the British state should say English only to interact with us in nearly all circumstances. Might make an exception for Welsh, I guess. But the idea that you could choose to, say I want this in, some foreign dialect and it would be paid at the expense of the taxpayer is extraordinary. So I think the basic default is English only. If you struggle with English, get an interpreter. I was interested there in Jacob Rees-Mogg in the trail for your show, Patrick, saying ChatGPT can solve this. So the person themselves should be able to translate into English what they need to say. But English only should be the basic principle of how you interact with the state.
OK, Adam, your thoughts on this? If you can't speak English and you've lived here for a while, should you be getting benefits, really, do you think?
I don't believe so. Again, I'll echo what Mark said. Look, in 2017, a research centre estimated that we had 1 million illegal immigrants in the UK. That was a quarter of the whole of Europe's illegal immigrants. We're a small island. We cannot cope. That was 2017. Imagine how many we've got now. I would say probably 1.5 million, maybe 2 million. We cannot cope. We've got a Labour government that many of their MPs signed a letter stopping a deportation flight which had rapists and killers on. Now, what chance have we got now? The Tories were bad, but Labour are so weak and so woke, this is only going to get worse. If you file an asylum claim in this country, there's a way that you can get housed and fed still, not deported. We will house and feed you, even if your asylum claim fails. It's a no-lose bet. If you're in Europe, you know you can come here, you can get a cash-in-hand job, you're going to get a bed, you're going to get benefits. There's nothing to lose. And if you're unlucky, you might be one in 100,000 that gets deportated, then you'll come back. That's what a lot of them do. You know, they leave the country. I think we've had one immigrant that has been back 5 times. This country's a joke and things have got to change.
Well, the same question to you, Nina. We'll go down the line on this one. I mean, do you think if someone calls up the Department for Work and Pensions, wants some help with their benefits claims, etc., and they clearly can't speak English and they've been here for a while, is that not the kind of time when maybe you should consider stopping their benefits?
No, I don't think so. I personally believe that if you emigrate to a country, you should learn the language. My father's sister, Polish, came to Leeds after the war and never spoke a word of English. And I was personally horrified by that. She was living in a community of Poles within Leeds and never felt she had to. And I really... It was so different from my father, who spoke 5 languages, that I disliked that. Having said that, when you ring up pensions and work benefits, there's going to be a complex conversation, a complex financial situation. And you may not, it's not black and white. You can speak English, you can not. There are grades in between. You may not be able to understand financially how to continue that conversation. So you might need an interpreter because it's a very important thing to you. We all have interpreters in our own way for financial issues. I mean, I'm sure, Adam, you have an accountant. The accountant, he or she, is your interpreter of your financial situation. And I think that we must look on this as something. So we're not saying... I mean, the work and pensions get about 35 million calls, or they handle 35 million calls a year. So we're talking in terms about 1 in...
40.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still a lot.
It is a lot. But I mean, if I were to ring up works and pensions, I'd almost want somebody there helping me, never mind the English, but the financial aspect.
I don't mind that so much, Nina. But the cost of the interpreter should be... Adam pays for his accountant,
Exactly.
the taxpayer doesn't. When I needed medical treatment in Spain last Christmas, and the surgeon, the doctor there, only spoke Spanish, the cost of the interpreter was put on my invoice. That's fine. So if you need assistance, whether it's financial assistance or translating from Albanian into English, be my guest, but don't send me the bill.
It's like if I moved to Spain, it's probably very unlikely that I'm going to be able to learn Spanish at this age.
Why?
No, but I'm just saying there are many expats out there that can't speak Spanish.
Lazy.
They are not draining the Spanish benefit system. They're putting in, they're spending their money, they're buying properties. So, look, you can say lazy and what... Then they're not taking away from that country.
But if they need, to speak Spanish, I think they should pay for the interpreter, not the Spanish taxpayer.
100%.
Yes, but what I object to is this thing that all foreigners are bad, that they are lingering on the state system, and what's more, they're clogging up our jails. That is a wildly exaggerated view.
The Albanians are.
I agree. The Albanians were a much bigger problem than they are now, in fact, because Rishi Sunak did a deal with Albania so that they're not coming in the way they used to, and they can be deported. If they're making an illegal crossing...
We're also paying for them to be in prison.
No, I agree. But
and then you're going to have to... I mean, realistically, I don't imagine that the kind of Albanians that were in prison had particularly high-flying legal jobs prior to their conviction. But the point is, if they do come out of prison and decide that they do want to go straight, I imagine they'll struggle to get jobs. We're probably paying their benefits as well.
The thing is, when we say these things, we're kind of, in a way, we're not demonising, but we're tarring all Albanians with the same brush.
No.
There are lots of Albanians who have been living here for 20, 25 years.
Well, 49 out of 50 of them are not in jail.
Well, exactly.
Right.
So obviously, but the thing is, when we concentrate on these things, it makes it unbalanced.
Hang on, it is wildly disproportionate. I looked up the numbers beforehand. On average, in the UK, 1 in 800 people are in jail. So to be in a cohort where there's 1 in 50
there's a problem.
is 13
Yes, I agree.
times more.
I agree.
It's not a bit more likely. 13
I agree.
times
But then you go down the list.
Cohort.
It's Albanians, then Poles, then Romanians, and then Irish. Are we going to deport the Irish? Are we going to deport the Irish?
Our system is being abused so badly that we have got foreigners that are living abroad that are claiming benefits in this country, and it's coming to millions, tens of millions a year. How stupid are our Home Office or the people, the civil servants, that are granting these?
And it's the social contract as well, because our tax burden has never been higher. When you look at things, I was sent an article earlier today about the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead, where they are seeking to increase your council tax by 25%. And unquestionably, some of that has to be down to the sheer volume of money we are spending on the things that we've spoken about tonight, whether it's to do with genuine refugees, whether it's to do with illegal immigrants, whether it's to do with this whole smorgasbord of different services that we are paying out in benefits for people who are not from here, who are not working. And I will caveat that by saying we have enough of that problem ourselves. We have enough people in this country who can't be bothered to go and get a job. We have enough people in this country, especially that younger age demographic of 18 to 30, who cannot be bothered to get off their backside and out of their mum and dad's
That started under the last Labour government. Blair and Brown made it possible to live off benefits if you wanted to choose to do so. And the Tories didn't do anything about that.
Getting back to the original thing, what I object to is people just saying foreigners, as if we British and foreigners aren't human beings. We're talking about benefits for human beings. We're talking about benefits for people who come.
A system that's being gamed disproportionately.
Disproportionately by more basically British people.
Disproportionately by more foreigners.
So I don't want to
foreigners. Foreigners.
I would caveat that with saying, or in a way, I think what we're talking about is fraud. Actually, not really. But what nationality the people committing that benefits fraud are is something. But if they happen to be foreign, then maybe that's something we can remove.
I doubt that anybody who needs an interpreter to have a conversation with the Department of Work and Pensions is able to commit fraud.
There's a simple approach, isn't there? A simple principle. If you want to come over and live here, we basically expect you to be a net contributor, not a net beneficiary.
Absolutely. We can help people to learn English.
We've got to knock it on the head for now. But thank you very much. Another lively start.